live from News Channel 8, keeping you alert with the latest on severe weather.
Well, too bad we didn't get this tornado warning while we were still showing radar, as we have a tornado warning that's been issued for Haskell County until 12:15. Notice that it's not a long 30 to 45-minute tornado warning. That's normally the time frame that they're issued. So we're expecting to either watch the circulation bump up in intensity or bump down, and the warning will be expired. So again, this is for Haskell County heading towards Stigler. Let's take a closer look at this rotation to see if it's strengthened since the last time we've looked at it. Now, for the past hour or so, we've seen kind of stronger rotation and signals for circulation within this line of storms. So far, it hasn't warranted a tornado warning, but overall, there it is. That's easy to pick out. So right near the Quinton area, although this rotation is just outside of Quinton, heading towards Quinta and Whitefield. It's essentially going to split the difference as this storm is moving slowly to the northeast. We can see that rotation here where the red meets the green. Eventually, this will make its way towards Stigler. Now, these are the only cities that pop up in the warning, but I think folks around it need to be extra aware in case this warning is extended to the north and east. So that would put McCurtain on the line for this potential tornado warning. This would put Keota, Tamaha, Sallisaw, and even portions of Porham in the mix as well. So something we need to keep an eye on. All morning long, we've been watching this line of storms to see if we're going to see any upticks in circulation. So far, this has been the best defined circulation I've seen so far, and it looks like it's going to cross Highway 2, and so we'll be watching that, as well as when we look downstream, Highway 86 is also a part of that, as well as Highway 9. So if these roadways sound familiar to you, you definitely want to make sure you seek shelter. So this storm is only moving at about 25 miles per hour to the northeast. So let's do a track on this just so you're aware as this moves to the north and east. Again, it's moving very slow. So far, these storm motions haven't been all that great due to the entire system is moving to the east. And then we've seen kind of this upward motion from the south. So let's back this up here. So it's only showing a couple of towns due to the less dense area, but if you're near the Stigler area, which is on the far side of the tornado warning, it'll likely be near you. The circulation right here around 12:20. So that's on the end of the tornado warning near that expiration time. However, it is moving now, heading up towards to Hugart there. So if you're in that area or near Highway 2, you want to seek shelter. Next, it'll be near Whitefield and Briartown. Again, Stigler's on the far end with Garland right behind it. Also included in this tornado warning is Lafayette. So we've been watching this line of storms. It's been severe thunderstorm warned for at least the past hour with that tornado tag. Now, maybe we haven't heard it that often. A tornado tag means there's not enough of a strong circulation to issue a tornado warning, but we've been watching that line of storms or that particular section of the storms, and at any point in time, that circulation could tighten up enough to warrant a tornado warning, and that's why we have a tornado warning here. So we're really looking at here with this circulation near the Hugart area, just east of Quinton, again heading towards Quinta, Stigler, Lafayette, and Whitefield. This storm is only moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. Let's clear this out. We'll go back to reflectivity and we'll show you the entire line of storms. It looks like we have an additional tornado warning as well. This one just being issued. This is for McIntosh County. Also goes until 12:15. So let's give you some information on that. This storm is also moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So let's dive in and take a closer look at this circulation, see what it looks like on our velocity data, and if we can pinpoint that out. So it looks like we are seeing this circulation near the Onapa area, heading up towards Chakotay. You can kind of see that right here. This is near I-40. We told you folks along I-40 and south would have the best chance to see severe thunderstorms, as well as the potential for these quick spin-up tornadoes. So this circulation is leaving Onapa on Highway 69, heading up towards Chakotay. This is likely in Chakotay right now, you see with this update. So if you're near the Chakotay area or along that I-40 and 69 corridor, you want to be in your safe space right now. This will eventually head up to the northeast near Rentisville. It's also taking a northeasterly trend track at 25 miles per hour, crossing I-40 as we speak, and will likely go past the Shady Grove area. Oktaha is just on the outside of this tornado warning, could be in potential danger of that, as well as near Martin and Warner. So keep this in mind as we're watching now 2 tornado warnings, and these both go until about 12:15 to 12:20. So as we were looking at before, let's take a widened view, make sure we're looking at this entire line, and I'll show you kind of what I'm looking at and what I'm most concerned for. We'll switch this to the Fort Smith radar so you can get a little bit of a better angle. So this is the entire line. What we see up to the north in Tulsa, we're not really concerned with that. Will we still be dealing with ongoing flooding? Sure. And we've got those flood alerts pasted all over portions of Green Country, and that's something you're going to have to keep an eye on as you go into the afternoon and eventually home from work or school later on today. But those folks along I-40 and south, so in our far southeastern counties, have the best chance to tap into higher instability. Granted, the greatest instability is down across the southeast in McCurtain County and into portions of LaFleur County, but those storms haven't even made it to that area yet. So we could see an uptick in intensity of those storms. We're also seeing good wind shear too, and it gets higher as you go to the east and southeast. Now, eventually behind this line of storms, so folks in McAllister, Henrietta, Holdenville, you are in the clear for severe weather. It's really only with this leading edge of storms and storms coming up out of the Red River and heading to the northeast. You saw this other tornado warning that was just issued a second ago. Not in our viewing area, but will be really close into our viewing area. So we're gonna have to watch this storm too. Let me back it out and put more of a national showing on it just so you can see what's coming up from the south as we're seeing more tornado warnings issued. Just so you can get a kind of sense of what we're looking at and kind of what I've been watching all morning long. So we'll put this into motion. These storms have been severe all across northern Texas. And as they move along the Red River, again, the best place to see that instability and shear closer to that frontal boundary between I-40 and the Red River, these storms have been able to strengthen and tap into those ingredients. So not only is this entire MCS, or mesoscale convective system, essentially it's just a thunderstorm complex, although it's moving to the east at a slow pace, you're getting storms moving northeast as well out ahead of it, and that's why we're seeing this kind of line strengthening here and why we're seeing additional storm development. So let's take a little bit of a closer look. We'll talk more about our tornado warnings that have been issued for the area. As of this time, we only have 2 tornado warnings. We'll stop this lapse and we'll get closer here, but we are watching these 2 tornado warnings that are near Clayton in Pushmataha County that are just outside of our viewing area. For the moment, we have these 2 tornado warnings, one for Haskell until 12:15, and we have one for McIntosh until 12:15. It's been a while, right? So let's jump right back into it. Let's check to see if we have any updates from the National Weather Service office to see what they're looking at. It's expected to be severe. National Weather Service thinking that just what I was saying, that there's a better environment for this tornado potential to continue as this line of storms moves east and southeast. So we're all along the same line of thinking here. So we've got a continuation of the tornado warning still for 12:15. Let's see if there's an update in motion. Nope, it's still moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So let's take another look here. We'll dive right back into velocity data. Obviously, these storms have moved a little bit since we've last showed you. So near the Hughart area, now this is near Highway 2. This is Highway 2 here. Quinta is down to the south. Here's the circulation. It's moving to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. So Quinton, you're now in the clear. You were on the kind of very leading edge of that tornado warning. You are in the clear now, but now it's moving to the northeast closer to Whitefield, getting ready to cross Highway 2, eventually heading up into Stigler and Lafayette. Let me get you a name on this highway here near the Stigler area, because that's also going to be kind of in the way as well. Looks like Highway 31 is to the south. Highway 9 is to the north near the Whitefield area. So those locations near Highway 9, Highway 2, Highway 31 all intersect within this tornado warning. So if you're like, hey, this is my hometown, or I know this area, you want to make sure you're seeking shelter if you are in this area. The storm is moving very slowly. not great news because it won't pass your town quickly, right? Likely that circulation is just going to sit over an area. It's moving slowly to the northeast, but it's not quick to get out of there. So you may have to stay in your safe space just a little bit longer, especially if you are on the outside edge or just that far edge of the tornado warning. Now let's go up to the north where we are tracking. Got one more tornado warning. It looks like it has been allowed to expire because I'm not seeing that there, so that's definitely good news. Okay, so the tornado warning for McIntosh County has expired. So at this moment in time, we only have this one tornado warning. So this is for Haskell County, and it goes until 12:15. It's 12:02 right now, so we have roughly 10-ish minutes that we're going to continue to track this circulation. And all morning long, I was watching. You can ask some of my production guys here. I was telling them, any moment in time, we're going to get a tornado warning. I'm grateful it happened right at the end of the 11 a.m. show, so we had your attention. That way you didn't miss this. Maybe you're going to rush out to lunch or things like that. Right now, this is the only intense circulation that we've been able to see so far this morning. So it's going to continue to track to the northeast at 25 miles per hour. And since it's moved a little bit, I'm going to put a track on that for you. It looks like, okay, McIntosh County has been canceled. We're seeing just a kind of more communication on that. I just want to double check, make sure it wasn't the one for Haskell County. All right, we're going to put a track on this circulation now. Crossing Highway 2 as we speak. It'll be near the Stigler area at 12:20 and Keota at 12:46. Again, I want to emphasize it's moving really slowly. So you're probably wondering, hey, it's on the eastern edge of the viewing area. It's going to cross soon. No, this is something we've been watching, I'd say, since about 10:15. As soon as I finished my interviews with Living Oklahoma, we've had our eyes on this line of storm. So far, this one has stood out the most, right, with a more intense circulation. Most of the other circulations along this line of storms has been a bit more on the broader side. So not enough to warrant a tornado warning, just enough to make sure all eyes are on this line. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at some of the other parts of this line segment of storms. We'll clear out this area. And so far, this seems to be the most intense circulation, potentially a circulation near Dutchess Landing and south of Shakota. If you remember, that was the original tornado warning. You may be wondering, hey, weren't we tracking this area near Shakota and Rentisville? We were. Looks like the circulation broadened out enough to not need that tornado warning. Still a location we'll be watching. Likely some gusty winds moving into the Dutchess Landing, Shakota area, getting ready to cross Highway 40 near Highway 69 as well, and eventually we'll move past the Warner area. Let's take a little look farther south, because the farther north we go, not so much in the way of the ingredients needed for these stronger rotations. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of lightning here, not an instance for rotation, but just something to keep an eye on near the Wilburton and Damon area. And again, remember, we have these tornado warnings to the south and east that are really close to our viewing area near the Pushmataha County. And so this is what they're looking at. Again, far away from the radar. Not going to give a real good look, but it looks like potentially maybe two circulations within Pushmataha County. And the only reason why I'm looking at this here, you may be wondering, this isn't in our viewing area. Well, it could be in our viewing area very quickly. So we want to make sure we know what's coming our way. That could make it into Clayton, crossing Highway 271, and eventually into the Talihina area, which is just on the far bottom of our viewing area here in Green Country. So we'll keep an eye on that far southern tornado warning to see if that'll be extended into our viewing area. Otherwise, we're just watching this line of storms. So here's the entire line. It's been slowly moving across the Red River. It didn't start to move northeast until it made it into Green Country. The better ingredients for severe weather from now until early this evening, 5, 6, maybe 7 o'clock the latest, will be along I-40 and south to the Red River. So that's why we are seeing now these tornado warnings be issued as we get closer to lunchtime, because, well, these storms are finally able to tap into those better ingredients like higher wind shear. The greatest wind shear I could find, east and southeast, so that would be LaFleur and into McCurtain counties. But overall, we haven't had too much in the way of wind shear. Instability, rather low for the most part, but it's really maximized in our far eastern and southeastern portion of the state. So that's why we're seeing continued tornado warnings as we go forward. Likely this may be extended if we don't see this circulation kind of weaken as we go forward. So Chief Meteorologist Kevin Coskren, he's tracking the storms with me. Kevin, it's good to see you this early afternoon. What have you been seeing so far since you jumped in?